Welcome to the Pointy End. I'm Keith Sutherland. Today my guest is Brenton Johnson, candidate for the City of Greater Bendigo elections that are coming up later this year. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Keith.
My pleasure. Now give me a little bit of a brief history about yourself and then we'll talk about why getting into local government.
Yeah. So I suppose I grew up in Ballarat, but I decided to move to Bendigo eventually because it is better.
And the centre of the universe, as we know.
Well, that's right. I don't want to pick sides or anything, but Bendigo is clearly better than Ballarat.
Well, we don't have the cold weather, but anyway.
Oh, that's right.
I mightn't say that today.
Yeah.
No, well, fair enough. And what got you thinking about local government? Because you're only a young fellow, and not that there's anything wrong with young people. We've had some terrific young people in the early days, the late Darryl McClure, and then we had James Reid, and it'd be great to have more younger people because you're representing that part of our generation that is the up-and-coming generation. But what made you think about local government, and were you inspired by anything, or how did you get involved or think about it?
I guess I've always been involved in some level with government. So I was on youth council when I was in Ballarat. I've been to youth parliament a couple of times. I've always kept a pretty active interest in public policy. But I'm just looking at the opportunity now for Bendigo to be a real leader in particularly digital stuff. And the leadership just isn't there on the council at the moment around digital. So I'm thinking I could come in and fill that gap. That's sort of my main motivation. That's what I really want to achieve.
Now, I understand that you want to be an Eppalock Ward. Now, every man and his dog wants to be an Eppalock Ward. So why would you think that that's the best ward? Because that's where the most competition is going to be.
That's true, Keith. But I do live in Eppalock Ward, and
right. We
also have the university out at Eppalock Ward. So the majority of the young people in Bendigo concentrated out there for that reason. So I want to be able to be that young councillor that they can come and speak to if they have a problem. Because at the moment, the average age of council is 60. So if you're a young person, you have an issue with council, it doesn't feel as natural as going to someone who's pretty similar age to you. So if someone young on council could fill that position, I think that would go a long way.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, of course. Now, you mentioned before about the digital age, and it's only that this council itself have come up with their iPads, come to council meetings, getting rid of the paper. And it's interesting because I watch them flick through and they're trying to get and you lose your part in the iPad, so it's a matter of keeping up to date. But obviously, you've got a really big background because you've started a business with a digital age. Just explain that and how that you believe that can help you with your if you get elected to council.
Yeah. So I'm a cloud solution provider. So we try and move businesses into the cloud and make them more efficient, improve their processes, those sorts of things. So when I look at the way council does stuff at the moment and how they could be doing things, I see a big disconnect there. Council, being a big organisation, is a slow-moving organisation. But that doesn't mean they can't take advantage of some of the new stuff coming out. So to give you a bit of an example, we have the Digital Transformation Office up in Canberra. It's a federal government initiative. They've said they'll make MyGov free for any local government, any government organisation that want to use it. All they have to do is build the system around it. So the ultimate goal of MyGov is to be able to go on, get your Medicare, pay your rates, register your dog, do all that sort of stuff. I haven't seen any discussion around those sorts of things. So I think when we do budgets in the future, we'll need to be going, okay, well, how much money are we going to put towards building those functionalities in? Because if you look at the cost of doing a transaction with council face-to-face, it's nearly $17. If you look at online, it's 40 cents. So if we can get more people doing things online in a way they prefer to do it, and people can still pay in person if they want. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater, make it too hard for everybody, but people who would prefer to pay online, people like myself, let's open up that option for them and save the council $17 a transaction.
Okay, well that's very interesting because the council's just come out with their budget for the year. Going to make a surplus, but at the end of the day, that'd be interesting. So did you drill down to find out whether the council are providing any funds for future in this area? Because I didn't see anything, but that was something that I wasn't aware of either. So if you're not looking for it, you're not going to know what you're looking for anyway. Well, you don't know about it, I should say.
Yeah, no, that was the first thing I looked at, Keith. I looked through the budget let's have a look at IT, let's see what they're doing in digital. And a lot of the stuff is necessary IT things that they need. So they put firewalls in, they put computers in, that sort of stuff. But there wasn't any sort of emphasis on, say, what I call the accelerators, so the stuff around the digital transformation stuff, the MyGov stuff, or better community engagement online. I didn't see anything like that. There was a lot of stuff around infrastructure, obviously big infrastructure budget, but the digital infrastructure, I didn't see anything in there about that. I might have missed it, I guess, but so I'm happy to be corrected there, but I didn't see anything that really stood out for me.
Well, obviously the council does need a younger person that understands all this technology, innovation you mentioned as well, and the digital world, but obviously young people, you're passionate about it because we see around Bendigo, not just Bendigo, right across Australia, that the youth unemployment is so much higher in certain regions, and obviously you can be a voice for those people, particularly on council, with your new ideas, innovation, and the digital world that we live in. So it's obvious that we do need new, clear thinking people on the council. Is there something that you currently see with the current crop of councillors, and as you said, age 60 is the average age, that then perhaps other than what we've discussed, is there something else that they're not doing that you believe they should be doing, and it's something that you're going to be passionate about other than that digital world?
Yeah, I think there should be more of an emphasis on self-development, doing a lot more training. It's important to connect with the community, it's important to listen to the community, it's important to get out there. But I think it's also important because you're making decisions on a, say, $100 million budget, that you're also spending a significant amount of time learning about, well, what is Internet of Things? How do we learn about that stuff? Or, let's improve governance structures. We had so many problems with governance. Maybe there could be better training before people get elected. And even once they're elected, maybe there can be a better training regimen, or there'd be more room in council to do that. So I'd like to see more of an emphasis on that. Although having said that, there is opportunities there. So I'm not saying it's a lost cause, but I'm saying there's huge opportunities to improve in that area.
Interesting that you say that, because the council, this is the first time I've ever seen it, lots of forums, come along, listen to local government people, also state government people, and this is what's involved, because a lot of people have this perception, it's pretty easy, just get on council, you do this, you learn that. And I see some of the council have done the local government the certificates, they've done all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to pick up unless you've followed council over a period of time to see what those infrastructure projects are, what the number one priorities are, and all these sorts of things. So take the council, full marks to them that they are at least doing that this time around. But you offer something that, well, I think that I haven't seen so far, and we've interviewed quite a few candidates here at the pointy end.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. Yeah, look, as I said, I'm not going to be everything to everyone. I really want to fill that gap around digital. So if I can fill that gap around digital and help the councillors understand that stuff better, start bringing up discussions around, can we use big data to make rates lower? What's big data? How do we do that? Because rate capping is going to be probably the biggest challenge we're going to face.
Yes, that's right.
So if we can be more efficient with using technology, and we can be aware of it, and we can put money aside to enable council to do it, because there's no point blaming the council if they don't have the money allocated. So the leadership really needs to come from council to say, all right, well, what can we do better? Okay.
Finally, how are you going to get your message out there? Obviously digitally. I'll be seeing stuff on Facebook and whatever else, because I know who you are. A lot of people around Bendigo don't know who you are.
Yep.
So you need to spend a bit of money to be able to get your message out there, to be known. And the other thing, the final thing I just want to ask is that when you're standing for council, we can't be naive and think we're going to get in on our own ticket. Are you talking to anybody about preference flows, or is that all too early until we actually know who may be the candidates for the Eppalock Ward?
Yeah, look, on that last point, just because I remember that one, I have spoken to a few people around the place, but at the moment it's really too early. We don't know who's running yet.
Correct, yep.
I know people are going to put their hand up who haven't declared that they're going to put their hand up, so they're going, oh, I might come out at the last minute. So it's a little bit early to sort of be locking in preference deals, but what I'll be looking for in the people that I partner with is, I want people who are really quite rational, maybe people with good governance background, given that's sort of a skill that's lacking in the council at the moment. I think we'll retain a lot of the councillors that we have, so if we can get people with complementary skill sets or more reflective of the community, so maybe some more younger people, those sorts of things, that's what I'll be looking for. Yeah.
The other point was how are you going to get your message out there? As I said, I know it will be social media, but beyond that, because you need a few dollars to be able to advertise in the old medium, of course.
Yeah. So I won't be doing any print media apart from when people want to do stories with me. I'm always happy to do a story with a journalist. We're very, very blessed in Bendigo to have some really good journalists at the Addy, at the Weekly. We've got you doing this today, Keith, which again I can put up online and I can share with my friends. I do a lot of just out there talking to people. I think that's the best way. You should be out there door knocking if you want to get elected, because you might need to understand the community. So it's not going to be me sitting back on a computer saying, oh, I'll do some stuff on social media and I'll get in, because that's not how it works. But I will use social media to maintain those relationships. And I've been looking at the people who do it really well and saying, okay, well, what do those guys do differently? And how do I use their techniques to reach the people that I want to reach?
Well, Brenton, it's refreshing to talk to a young person like yourself that's got all these skills and ideas, and we obviously do need some new blood in council that can bring some of these things to the table, because the thing you blew away with me, cost of doing business face to face, $17 as opposed to 40 cents. So that's an initiative that I hadn't heard of. So that's great. So good luck with your campaign. And later in the year, obviously, we'll be having some forums with local government leading up to the elections, and we'll see more of you. So congratulations, and thank you for appearing on the Pointy End today.
Thank you, Keith.